You know, just a few years ago, the idea of a luxury F with hypercar-like acceleration, over 500 miles of range, and tech that looks like it was pulled straight out of a sci-fi movie sounded a broken bar, well, almost laughable. But then came Lucid. And now, in 2026, the Lucid Air has evolved again. More refined, more powerful, and still completely unique in a sea of Teslas, BMWs, and Mercedes EQS. So today, we're going deep. We've spent days with the 2026 Lucid Air, driving it, testing it, poking around in the software, and yes, putting it through some performance runs for you all. Whether you're a die-hard ICE purist or someone fully invested in the future, this one deserves your attention. Let's get into it. We'll start with the lineup. In 2026, Lucid offers 4 trims: Pure, Touring, Grand Touring, and the flagship Sapphire. But what's interesting is how much the lower trims have leveled up. The Pure now comes with dual motors as standard, AWD, and 460 miles of range. That's what used to be Grand Touring territory just a couple of years ago. And Lucid's done something wild with pricing too. The Pure starts at around $77,000. Still premium, but when you think about what you're getting, over 1,000 Newton-meters of torque in the Sapphire, track-level dynamics, a luxury interior that makes an S-Class feel a bit old, it starts to make sense. Kind of. But we'll come back to whether the value is actually there. Let's talk design. From the outside, it's subtle, probably too subtle for some. The 2026 Air hasn't changed radically from earlier years, but the refinements are in the details. More aggressive venting, a new LED light signature, and slightly reworked aerodynamics push the drag coefficient to 0.19, still one of the lowest in the industry. In person, the Air looks long and lean. It's sleek like a Catlo slung but muscular. And it still gets looks. Not flashy like a Lambo, not common like a Tesla Model S, it's got presence. It whispers luxury, rather than shouting it. Open the door and that's when things get really interesting. The interior of the 2026 Air is, without question, one of the best we've experienced. Lucid has absolutely nailed the materials. The blend of Alcantara, sustainable wool blend fabrics, and aluminium trim feels bespoke. Nothing creaks, nothing rattles. Everything feels engineered, not just styled. The new 34-inch curved glass cockpit display has improved haptics and refresh rate, and the new Snapdragon XR2-based chipset makes the UI buttery smooth. Gone are the laggy animations and occasional crashes from the early Lucids. This thing is as responsive as an iPhone 16. Even better, the secondary touch screen in the center stack, the pilot panel, is now retractable and more deeply integrated with vehicle systems. You can drag widgets between screens, customize layouts, and even run third-party apps like real ones, not just whatever's pre-approved. Lucid has also integrated generative AI-based voice commands that actually work. We tested it. You say "I'm cold," and it adjusts your side of the cabin by 2 degrees, closes your vents slightly, and turns on seat heating all in one go. No touch inputs, no digging through menus. But all that comfort and tech would be relevant if the car drove like a barge. Luckily, it doesn't. Not even close. Let's talk about how it drives. The base Pure has 510 horsepower. The Touring gives you 620. Grand Touring? 819. And the Sapphire? A massive 1,234 horsepower from a tri-motor layout. We took the Grand Touring and the Sapphire out for testing. Both cars use Lucid's in-house drive units, which are tiny, efficient, and brutally powerful. And here's where Lucid's magic shows up. It's not just raw power, it's how it's delivered. Throttle response in the Sapphire is razor sharp. The torque vectoring is aggressive but precise. You don't get that weird floaty feeling some Fs give you under heavy acceleration. This thing grips and digs in. It rotates like a sports car. It accelerates like a Bugatti. We did 0-60 in 1.89 seconds. Verified. On street tires. It's honestly ridiculous. But the real party trick? The way it maintains composure even when you're pushing it hard in corners. Credit the new adaptive dampers and stiffer rear subframe introduced for 2026. They've tightened up the ride without sacrificing comfort. In the Grand Touring, it's more relaxed but still seriously quick. 0-60 in 3.2 seconds. The suspension's a bit softer, and the tires are tuned more for range and quietness, but even then, it's incredibly capable for a 5,200-pound car. Range remains one of Lucid's biggest flexes. Even the performance-focused Sapphire gets over 420 miles per charge, thanks to improved cell chemistry and smarter thermal management. And yes, you can fast charge at up to 350 kilowatts, gaining 300 miles in around 18 minutes if you find a charger that supports it. Lucid's also finally opened up compatibility with Tesla's NACS system standard on all 2026 models. That's huge. It means you can now plug into Tesla superchargers without any adapters or drama. One area we were especially curious about: software. Early Lucids had great hardware but kind of janky software. That's changed. The 2026 Lucid Air runs on a fully updated OS called Lucid EQS 3.0. It's faster, prettier, and more modular. OTA updates are smoother, and there's now a full developer API, so we might see third-party integrations really ramp up over the next year. There's also Lucid Pilot 2.0, their semi-autonomous driving suite. It uses LiDAR, 15 cameras, and ultrasonic sensors, and it's really good. Like, scary good in some scenarios. On the freeway, it maintained perfect lane positioning, anticipated merges, and even reacted to debris in the road without driver input. It's not full autonomy yet, but it's knocking on the door. Still, for our audience performance nuts and real drivers, the fun part isn't in the computer doing the work for you. It's how the car engages you. So we ran the Air Sapphire on a closed course. Hairpins, straights, tight chicanes. And I'll be real with you, this is the first electric sedan I've driven that made me forget it didn't have an engine. It feels alive. The steering isn't numb. The brakes are strong, progressive, not grabby or overly rigid and heavy. We even turned everything off. Escape, traction, all of it. Just raw dual motor torque with the rear axle completely unshackled. It'll let you slide within limits. It doesn't fight you, and it doesn't shut you down the moment you try to have fun. But maybe the best thing about the 2026 Lucid Air? It's just a broken bar balanced. It doesn't feel like it's trying to out-Tesla. It doesn't feel like it's trying to copy Porsche's Taycan. It feels like its own thing. A new branch on the performance tree. You're not going to get engine noise. There's no dual clutch gearbox to bang through. But you will get pure, linear thrust. You'll feel the push from all four corners. You'll notice how little body roll it has for something this large. And you'll appreciate the way it makes 600 horsepower feel casual and normal until you ask for more. Let's talk real-world livability for a second. Cargo space. 26.1 cubic feet in the rear, and another 10 in the frunk. That's SUV territory. Rear seats are limousine-like, ear-heated, ventilated, massaging. And Lucid's rear screen now allows passengers to control climate, audio, and even scent diffusion. Yeah, it's got ambient scents now. 3 options, none of them annoying. Ride quality is superb, even on 21-inch wheels. Lucid uses what they call predictive ride control, where the suspension preloads based on GPS, speed, and driver behavior. You don't feel potholes. You glide over them. Noise isolation is next level. Double laminated glass, extra firewall insulation, and new underbody panels cut road and wind noise by nearly 60% compared to the 2023 model. At 70 miles per hour, it's quieter than a Rolls-Royce Ghost. Legit. Maintenance? Lucid's updated battery warranty now covers 12 years or 150,000 miles, and they've built out more mobile service vans, plus authorized centers in over 40 states. It's still not as convenient as Tesla's network, but it's catching up. So where does that leave us? In 2026, the Lucid Air isn't just a luxury F, it's one of the best cars you can buy, period. It blends luxury, performance, and technology in a way that doesn't feel forced or gimmicky. And more than anything, it feels intentional. Like every decision was made by people who care about driving. It's not perfect. It's still expensive. The brand's still young, and resale values are a bit of a question mark. But if you want something that stands apart, something that blends high-speed stability with true innovation, you owe it to yourself to drive one. So, would we buy it? If you want raw performance, the Sapphire is a beast. It's more exciting than a Model S Plaid, and more refined than any Taycan Turbo S. If you're after balance, the Grand Touring hits the sweet spot. You get power, range, and elegance without going full maniac mode. But the truth? Every trim of the 2026 Air is impressive in its own way. Lucid's proven they're not a one-hit wonder. And if they keep evolving like this, the future's not just electric, it's thrilling. Alright, that's it for this deep dive. If you liked the breakdown, drop us a comment with your favorite F right now, or what car you'd like to see take on the Lucid Air in a head-to-head. Rivian R3X? Porsche Macan F? You name it, we'll bring it. And you know the deal, this is Build and Burn. We don't just review cars, we push them. We build. We burn. We feel them.